You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, a car crashes into the Carthage Police Department.
We've got 3 days of great February weather, and then we've got a massive cold front on the way. We're going to have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And when a Joplin area nonprofit needed help, the community turned out to show its support. All that and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Over the weekend, a car crashes into the Carthage Police Department on Saturday just after midnight. An officer in Carthage saw a car on Garrison Avenue attempting to turn east onto 4th Street. The car went over some curbs and hit the west side of the Carthage Police Department. Officers at the scene say this is a DWI investigation. There was only one person in the car who was transported by a police cruiser to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police over the weekend respond to an overturned truck that caught on fire after a 2-vehicle crash. Just after 10 on that Saturday night, a small passenger car heading west on Baseline Boulevard crashed into a pickup truck heading north on Missouri 43. The pickup overturned and caught fire. Asbury Fire and Rescue, Tri-Cities Fire District, Metz, Jasper County Sheriffs, Oronogo Police, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol all responded to the crash. If you're driving in Joplin, be prepared for some signal changes in downtown. Some stormwater work is taking place in the area of 10th and Main. Because of this, a signal pole has to be removed, and 10th Street west of Main is already closed. Starting February 15th, the signal will change to a flashing yellow for Main Street traffic and a flashing red for 10th Street traffic. This closure and change in the signal is expected until a new signal pole can be put back in, which is expected to take about 3 weeks. On Sunday, Coley's Cookies hosted a Galentine's cookie decorating party. Business provided everything needed to decorate 6 individual Valentine's Day and llama-themed cookies. There were instructors on hand to help as well. The class was for everyone ages 16 and up, and those taking part received a bakery box to take cookies home after the event.
A lot of people come in and want to learn how to decorate cookies, so we do classes for kids and for adults. And we thought today, with it being Super Bowl, that maybe there was some ladies that wouldn't necessarily want to be at the game watching it, so we would have a little get together here. So we're decorating some Valentine's Day cookies that they get to take home with them.
Coley's Cookies is one of a series of new businesses in the 900 block of South Main in Joplin. Also over the weekend, the Southeast Kansas Humane Society hosted its 45th annual Chili Feed. The event was a drive-through style hosted outside the Memorial Auditorium in Pittsburgh. Chili dinners were available, which included chili, of course, as well as a brownie and even a drink to go with them. All the proceeds go directly to the Humane Society.
There's no words for it. The communities, they are just so supportive of the fur babies that my heart smiles just with all the outgoing concern, care, and love for them.
Brackett says on average they raise between $6,000 and $7,000 for the Humane Society. Well, today is Valentine's Day, and Americans are willing to pay up to show their love. Across the U.S., people are expected to spend nearly $24 billion on Valentine's Day gifts this year, according to the National Retail Federation. That's up from nearly $22 billion last year. As for what people will buy, they'll pretty much stick to the classics. Candy, greeting cards, and flowers, in that order, top the list of most popular Valentine's Day gift items this year.
I tried to get you that that black diamond that was 55 carats.
Somebody jump in there and snag it before you got a chance to?
No, the Bengals lost.
So you lost.
I needed to parlay that right. Not that we encourage that at home. I'm just for entertainment purposes only, right? Or if you wanted to buy your co-anchor a 55 carat black diamond. So really, you can blame the Los Angeles Rams on the fact that you're not sporting that right now. That's a them problem.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Well, it's the thought that counts.
Well,
I'm trying.
I didn't get you anything. So
I'm sinking slowly, but I'm trying.
You're bringing me warmer temperatures for this Valentine's.
Wow, what a segue by you. You are the queen of segues, by the way. Tim's like, I've heard enough. We're going sky camera full. Hey, Slip, that's enough out of you. Officially, sunrise will take place over Joplin in 3 minutes. We'll call it 7:08 on this Valentine's Day, February the 14th. Great shot outside of the mothership right there as we take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Clear as can be. As a matter of fact, even if we put on the satellite layer and check out the cloud cover, you got to roll almost all the way to St. Louis to find any clouds even in the sky. If you're headed out on this Monday, you got a road trip, business trip, anything planned like that, you are in luck. Travel conditions are pristine, and we're going to have a nice little warming trend on our hands, despite the fact that we're squarely below the freezing mark in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Southwest Missouri has been considerably warmer this morning, with Carthage checking in at 38 as well. Everybody's going to end up in the mid-50s because of not only the sunshine, but also good southwest breeze is going to kick in. Don't think we need to talk about our elevated fire conditions. We'll be all right on that. Future Track will show you that for the next 2.5 days will be good. I didn't mean that with a question mark. I meant for 2.5 days will be good. The reason I had a little uptick in my voice right there is because I think it's a little startling when you look at our high temperatures in between Wednesday and Thursday and see a 40-degree drop. So that will transpire Wednesday night. We'll kick in with thunderstorm activity, followed by a massive cold front that will continually drop our temperatures from sunset on Wednesday past midnight all the way down in the 20s for Thursday morning.
All right. Well, up next, many states with Democrat governors begin dropping mask mandates despite White House advice to keep them in place. We'll have more details on what this means. And later, we've got an amazing story about a man who held up a sign at an NFL game and got a kidney transplant out of it. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Thank you for
More Democrat-led states are rolling back mask mandates. Governors in Illinois, New York, and Rhode Island are just the latest to ease mask requirements, defying guidance from the Biden administration and the Centers for Disease Control. Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
This is a clear change in messaging, one that Democratic governors are saying has been dictated by science. But Republicans who efforted an end to mandates much earlier say this is pure politics. The wave started with easing of mask restrictions last week by Democratic governors in New Jersey, Delaware, Oregon, and Connecticut, followed by Rhode Island and Nevada.
Nevada will rescind our mask mandate, effective immediately. Masks will no longer be required in public places.
In California, New York, and Illinois, indoor mandates are set to be lifted, but not for kids in schools.
Schools need a little more time for community infection rates to drop, for our youngest learners to become vaccine eligible, and for more parents to get their kids vaccinated.
Virginia Governor Republican Glenn Youngkin has been pushing to give parents an opt-out of school mask requirements. There is not an indoor requirement in Virginia, but you'll remember just a week ago the governor was berated for not wearing one.
Freeze the room, buddy!
It remains to be seen if blue state governors will get the same treatment. And Republicans feel Democrats have now read the room, politically speaking, thinking of the mask-weary masses ahead of the midterms.
These Democrats saw what happened in Virginia. They saw what happened in New Jersey, where there was a wave of Republican voters because people were so fed up with the mandates.
Now, the White House is not fed up with them, illustrating a clear party split. President Biden told NBC that the move is, quote, probably premature. Well, it is Valentine's Day, with this being February 14th, and it's also National Organ Donation Day. According to U.S. health officials, more than 100,000 American people, including children, are waiting for life-saving organs. The need isn't just for organs like kidneys, livers, and hearts. Donating 1 pint of blood can save 3 lives. And the CDC has updated the checklist for developmental milestones for babies and young children for the first time in years. Benchmarks include smiling for the first time and taking a first step. Changes are expected to make it easier to identify delays that could be a sign of autism or developmental disorders that could benefit from early intervention. And a new study suggests older adults have trouble recalling a specific memory because they have difficulty sifting through all the other information stored in their brains. But the researchers say there is an upside. Evidence shows older adults show enhanced creativity and at times because of their accumulated knowledge. Well, they say an elephant never forgets. Well, that's maybe how these couples will remember their wedding day. Over 40 Thai couples spiced up their V-Day by tying the knot atop elephants at the Nong Nooch Tropical Garden in Thailand's Chonburi province. Couples kick-started the marriage event while riding their respective elephants as they joined the parade procession, featuring a full-blown music band performance and young elephants dancing to the beat. If I was on an elephant for my wedding, it would be because I worked in the circus.
Because you what?
Because I worked in the circus. I ran off to the circus. I learned on an elephant at the circus.
You have not brought that up in ages. Anyway, because now I've got to do the backstory for everybody.
You do.
For those of you that may not know, Tanya has a dream to run off and be a circus performer.
Yes.
That is one thing that she has said she would always
I think
love
I've narrowed
to
it
do.
down to what specifically I would do in the circus. I would be the trainer of elephants and tigers. That would be my thing.
Erica Zerbini,
Yeah.
you
Sure,
can
horses
find, you got a protege. As I do the Brady Bunch thing. You have a
Take me
protege
under your wing, Erica.
right there. Hey, I love that story you did about the older people and memories. That's because memory is the thing that fascinates me, and the fact that it's only so much about, it's what we put together, and it's the stories that our brain constructs as far as our memories. Always found it fascinating.
Michael's getting deep this morning.
Right. Our daily almanac on this Valentine's Day, February the 14th, 2022, would show you an average high of 50 degrees. We're going to be able to achieve that and a little bit more, as we'll be in the mid-50s later on this afternoon. Great shot of 7th and Range Line right there. Look at the orange illuminating the billboards right down 7th Street. That is absolutely beautiful. 39 degrees is where we stand. Well on our way into the 40s here quickly, now that we have actually passed sunrise at Joplin Regional Airport. The Skywatch Storm Tracker shows you just how quiet the contiguous 48 is. Not that that's a bad thing. We like that. Hardly any cloud cover. We'll just have gorgeous skies all day long. What that will do is put us up into the mid-50s. We'll be even warmer here on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. Now you'll notice Wednesday, that's when the activity begins. Wednesday evening, thunderstorm activity is number 1. The massive cold front is number 2. So after we top out in the 60s on Wednesday, down, down, down we go after sunset, taking us all the way into the 20s for Thursday afternoon. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome to Sonic. May I take your order?
Last month, a Joplin nonprofit dedicated to serving children and families suffered a major blow to its building. KOAM's Kate Kelly shows us what happened at the Alliance of Southwest Missouri and how the community is now stepping up to support the organization through a challenge.
When a pipe burst in the sprinkler system of the attic at the Alliance of Southwest Missouri, thousands of gallons of water gushed through the building. An employee happened to be there on that Saturday and remembers it well.
I heard an explosion upstairs. By the time I could run upstairs, I would say within 1 minute, the entire upstairs was flooded.
Within minutes, Box was able to shut off the system, but the damage was done. Nearly half a foot of water was pouring down from upstairs, soaking everything in its path. But Box wasn't alone for long.
I think we had 6 personnel from the fire department, along with our director. Jen Black had sent out a mass email to all the employees. Within an hour, we had at least 15 to 20 people here. The fire department stuck around until we got all standing water out of this building, which prevented just mass destruction.
Insurance is helping to lift the burden, but it's still a challenge for this nonprofit.
They are going to be able to cover most of our furnishings, the reconstruction of the building, and our offices, our temporary office space. What they're not going to cover are the fact that we have had dryers and dehumidifiers and air purifiers blowing nonstop for almost 3 weeks at this point.
Through it all, the kindness of the community is keeping the organization going. Within 24 hours of the deluge, an anonymous donor offered to pay a $2,500 deductible. CJ Chamber volunteers called in extra hands to help sort and move items that could be salvaged.
Knowing what the Alliance is and what it stands for, our family, definitely would come back and help again.
Despite this setback, Black says the Alliance is moving forward with its vision for this building with its capital campaign and assures the public that any donated funds will go precisely where they're meant to.
We are not going to pull money from a place where donors have designated money towards the capital campaign, even though it would be so much easier and would expedite things. But we want to make sure we honor our donors, and we always want to do that. And so that money is earmarked for the capital campaign, and it will stay going towards the capital campaign.
To all its supporters, the Alliance says thank you.
Every dime we get goes right back to the public, so thank you to everybody out there that has helped us.
In Joplin, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
The Alliance has continued services throughout this ordeal and is now working out of a temporary office at the United Way in Joplin for at least the next 2 months. Now, if you'd like to help the Alliance, you can find more information on how to donate or volunteer by checking out this article on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back right after this.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Tech Sergeant Jacob Robertson. The Fredonia, Kansas native served in the Army from 1943 to 1945. Tech Sergeant Robertson was awarded 5 Bronze Service Stars, a Purple Heart, and a Bronze Arrowhead. We thank you, Tech Sergeant Jacob Robertson, today's four-state hero. An Indiana man is literally alive today because of a sign he held up at a football game. Marcus Edwards needed a life-saving kidney transplant when he came up with an idea to find a donor. Lauren Adams has his incredible story.
A February morning at Marcus Edwards' kitchen table, the talk is the upcoming Super Bowl.
I'm an honorary Bengals fan just for this week.
It's a game he never thought he'd see. Not necessarily the matchup, but the date on the calendar. He was in kidney failure when he held up this sign at an NFL game in 2019. We shared the Clark County man's story, but nothing happened. We tried again 1 year later as Marcus continued fighting for his life.
As long as I got the dialysis machine and I've got my wife and kids, I'm gonna be all right.
Jennifer Michael happened to see the story, and for days she couldn't help but shake the feeling that maybe she was the one that could help.
The nurse said, "You're a match." I said, "Like a real match?"
So in October 2021, Marcus and Jennifer met for the first time at the hospital, 2 days after giving him her kidney.
There was a complete stranger 15 minutes from me that just saved my life. You know, it was incredible.
And Marcus still has the sign, this right here, that started it all. He made it at a 2019 Bears game and held it up, hoping to make it on TV. But that almost didn't happen.
And she said, "You're going to actually hold that up?" I said, "Yeah."
That's what his wife said at the time. They both now credit the sign for starting a chain of events that led them to Jennifer, a woman they now consider part of their family.
My uncles and aunts in
Oh my
Maryland,
gosh.
yeah, they've contacted her, you know. And
Yeah, I have so many family members. I'm like, "Oh, Uncle Raymond."
Marcus, who once wondered if he'd be around to see his kids' milestones, now knows he'll be there and says Jennifer will too.
boys graduating high school, she'll be there.
She'll be there.
Everything, you know.
But first,
Kickoff's at 6:30.
Another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, a car goes through a 4-state police department. We'll have the latest and the passing of a Hollywood legend. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The time to accept help is now. Lost River Treatment Center is here to help.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Over the weekend, a car crashed into the Carthage Police Department on Saturday just after midnight. An officer in Carthage saw a car on Garrison Avenue attempting to turn east onto 4th Street. The car went over some curbs and hit the west side of the Carthage PD. Now, officers at the scene say this was a DWI investigation. There was only one person in the car who was transported by a police cruiser to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And a pickup overturns and catches fire in a two-vehicle crash just north of Joplin. It happened Saturday night when a small passenger car heading west on Baseline Boulevard crashed into a pickup truck heading north on Missouri 43. The pickup overturned and caught fire. Asbury Fire and Rescue, Tri-Cities Fire District, and the Highway Patrol were among a number of first responders called to the scene. Drivers in Joplin need to be prepared for some signal changes this week in downtown. Stormwater work is taking place in the area of 10th and Main. Because of this, a signal pole has been removed and 10th Street west of Main is already closed. Starting February 15th, the signal will change to a flashing yellow for Main Street traffic and a flashing red for 10th Street traffic. This closure and change in the signal is expected until a new signal pole can be put back in, which is expected to take about 3 weeks. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley announces who he is endorsing to take Senator Roy Blunt's seat after Blunt retires later this year. Emily Manley lets us know who Hawley has in mind.
4 of the 6 candidates had 90 minutes Saturday to tell a room full of supporters why to vote for them. But the biggest news of the day was actually before the forum, when Senator Josh Hawley endorsed Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler.
I am so thrilled. I'm so grateful. He is such a champion for our conservative values in Washington and has been such a powerful voice for what Missouri believes in.
During a statewide gathering of Republican leaders and activists, the candidates hoping to fill Senator Roy Blunt's seat took the stage.
I think the first thing we need to do is secure the border. We've got to get spending under control.
We have a government that ignores the Constitution. We have a government that ignores the law.
Moments before the forum,
Thank you. Look forward to working together.
Senator Josh Hawley announced he is endorsing Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler.
People trust Josh. They respect him as a true conservative who is out there on the forefront fighting, and for him to recognize that I am that way as well.
While it was not mentioned during the forum, other candidates told reporters they were not surprised.
I knew that was coming for a long time. Whenever the day that Vicky hired Josh's team at On Message to represent her, I called Josh and I said, this looks to me like that, you might be getting into Vicky. Josh Hawley's endorsement of Vicky Hartzler is just what you would expect, that a person who's got high political office will endorse somebody else who's been a 5-term congressman.
On stage, topics like how to address crime, congressional redistricting, and changes candidates want to see in Washington.
We have to back the blue, back the police, fund the police, don't defund the police.
This is the fight to save America. As your Attorney General, I have taken Joe Biden to the Supreme Court twice and won already, and we're going to continue that fight.
And make sure our kids are taught the ABCs and not CRT.
Now, during our interview, Hartzler said that she has more endorsements, but could not release any details. Congressman Long says that he plans to support the winner of the primary, no matter which Republican candidate wins. The other 2 candidates, Eric Greitens and Missouri Senate President Dave Schatz, were also invited to the forum, but did not attend. Reporting for our Missouri Capitol Bureau in St. Charles, I'm Emily Manley.
Well, Sunday, Cooley's Cookies host a Galentine's cookie decorating party. The business provided everything needed to decorate 6 individual Valentine's Day and llama-themed cookies. There were instructors on hand to help as well. The class was for everyone ages 16 and up, and those taking part received a bakery box to take cookies home after the event.
A lot of people come in and want to learn how to decorate cookies, so we do classes for kids and for adults. And we thought today, with it being Super Bowl, that maybe there was some ladies that wouldn't necessarily want to be at the game watching it, so we would have a little get together here. So we're decorating some Valentine's Day cookies that they get to take home with them.
Cooley's Cookies is one of a series of new businesses in the 900 block of South Main in Joplin. Also over the weekend, the Southeast Kansas Humane Society hosted its 45th annual Chili Feed. The event was a drive-through style hosted outside the Memorial Auditorium in Pittsburgh. Chili dinners were available, which included chili, of course, as well as a brownie and even a drink to go with them. All the proceeds go directly to the Humane Society.
There's no words for it. The communities, they are just so supportive of the fur babies that my heart smiles just with all the outgoing concern, care, and love for them.
Brackett says on average they raise between $6,000 and $7,000 for the Humane Society. Well, it seems chili was on everyone's mind as the Byers Avenue United Methodist Church hosted a chili and soup cook-off yesterday. As if the cook-off wasn't enough, there was also a dessert auction.
Well, here at Byers Avenue United Methodist Church today, we've been holding our annual chili cook-off and dessert auction. And we use the money for missions in our community, and this year we're kind of using it for our Thursday night meals that we're providing for the community and for our Bible study.
Temperatures were perfect for the name of the polar plunge in, or for the name anyway, of the polar plunge in Pittsburgh, but that made it very cold for those diving into what was, so we hear, 35-degree water. That's okay because there were warm hearts as hundreds raised money for Special Olympics Kansas.
This is a law enforcement torch run event, and I'm a part of the law enforcement torch run. I'm the state director, and all the money raised through this event goes to fund our Special Olympic athletes here in Kansas.
This year's plunge took place at the Crimson Villa Apartments on Rouse Street in Pittsburgh. So was it 35 degrees in that water?
No, the water was 42.
There you go.
Temperature outside was 23. Wind chill was 16. You hit the water, it was warm. And once again, that water was 42. Water was great. Then you hit the steps to get out of the water. Wow.
Yeah.
That's when it hit you. I
Like,
want to thank
get to
everybody
that.
who came out. We had a wonderful turnout. As a matter of fact, I had the opportunity to catch up with the Moore family. Mrs. Moore and I were talking after the event. It almost felt like it was pre-pandemic numbers, the amount, and when I say that, the amount of people who came out to watch, and also the amount of people that participated. It was fabulous. I want to thank the Allen County Sheriff's Department. Allen County Sheriff's Department itself raising some $6,000 for the Special Olympics of Southeast Kansas. And then the gentleman you just heard from, Chris raised $9,000.
Wow.
Himself.
On his own.
Yes, himself.
That's
$9,000. But it was great to see everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming out as well, and the amazing sponsors that were there. And like I said, it wasn't a bad afternoon because the wind was not bad. And it's fun. You know, it's fun. We had some great costumes, something I look forward to each and every year. Let's take a live look outside of Television City as we say hello to the glow cloud on Valentine's Day. 39 degrees is where we stand in Joplin right now. We do have a wind chill in effect, only feels like it's 32. So our temperatures range anywhere from, looks like 22 right now, our low number in Parsons. Joplin, our high at 39. Carthage right behind at 38. Let's go 25 in Miami. The Skywatch Storm Tracker. What a quiet, contiguous 48 we have. It is really hard to beat. And when we take a look at the 4 states, not a cloud in the sky. As a matter of fact, we'll ride sunshine for the next 2.5 days until thunderstorms kick in Wednesday evening. And yeah, that's a massive cold front right there. We're going to go from the 60s on Wednesday to the 20s on Thursday. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Dear Winter, my squad of 16 vehicle places.
This morning on the KOAM News Now Instapoll, our Something to Talk About, small businesses. We have to look no further than our own backyard to see the difficulties that small businesses have been through during the past 2.5 years. Our question to you this morning is, where do you make your purchases? Kind of gave you a variety of options, and right now 52% of you say that you try to make those local purchases, and I know that's greatly appreciated by all of our business owners. 22% either go chain stores or online. You can take part each and every morning by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or connecting to us via our Facebook page at KOAM News Now. Ivan Reitman, the storied Hollywood producer and director behind some of the biggest hits coming out of LA, died over the weekend. Reitman was behind the 80s and 90s comedic films that include Ghostbusters. We had Stripes, We had, oh, yeah, I forgot. He did Animal House, didn't he? That just dawned on me. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I forgot to mention this, Ghostbusters Afterlife was directed by his son Jason Reitman, the one that just came out. Bill Murray, John Candy, Harold Ramis, some of his actors that he would continually cast in all of those. He was 75 years old, and I still go back and I say, this may sound like an odd one, but I think my favorite Ivan Reitman film is Legal Eagles. I'm not going to say it's his best work, but once again, it's how I found out about Deborah Winger. Super Bowl Sunday always brings plenty for movie fans to talk about on the next morning because we had two big trailers and news of a movie about a music icon. Here's where we bring in David Daniel. He's got our Hollywood Minute.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things get, well, strange in the latest trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen lead the cast of the Marvel movie, arriving in theaters May 6th.
Telling you it's got worse since the tension between me and Mr. Muhammad.
One Night in Miami star Kingsley Ben-Adir is going from playing Malcolm X to another icon, Bob Marley. The British actor is set to play the reggae artist who became a worldwide symbol of Jamaican music and culture. King Richard director Ronaldo Marcus Green is on board to direct the biopic.
What's a bad miracle? They got a word for that.
The first trailer is out for Nope, the new horror thriller from Get Out and Us writer-director Jordan Peele. Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer star. Nope arrives in theaters July 22nd. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Brian with the Fireplace and More store in Schnelly Heating.
Tuned in to you.
No love on this Valentine's Day for stock futures as they fall this Monday morning on Russia-Ukraine tensions and a potential rate hike by the Federal Reserve. As we get ready for the week, here's the latest from Diane King Hall.
Wall Street remains worried about rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine, so stocks skidded on Friday. The Dow tumbled 503 points. The Nasdaq slid 349, and the S&P 500 dropped 85. Walmart is making a major change to its coronavirus policies. The retail giant will no longer require fully vaccinated workers to wear masks in stores unless they're mandatory under local or state rules. The change affects Sam's Club workers also. Unvaccinated workers still have to mask up. The change comes as more states ease mask rules. Buyer beware when looking for love online. The Federal Trade Commission says online romance scams are growing. Last year, that type of fraud hit a record high, with people reporting $547 million in losses. The FTC says the average person lost $2,400, and over the past 5 years, people have forked over $1.3 billion to romance scams. Meanwhile, Cupid is lining up deals for Valentine's Day. Heart-shaped donuts have returned to both Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' stores for Valentine's Day. If you prefer savory over sweet, Papa John's and Pizza Hut are serving up heart-shaped pizzas today. And if hearts just aren't your thing, it's buy 10, get 10 boneless wings at Hooters. But to get that deal, you have to shred a picture of your ex. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Diane King Hall.
Officials say they're working to keep traffic flowing between the U.S. and Canada. On Sunday, police began clearing a blockade from the Ambassador Bridge in Ontario. The span has been shut down for nearly a week by protesters against COVID-19 restrictions. Bridge is part of the busiest trade route in North America. Its closure had a profound impact on Detroit area automakers. Lack of parts forced Ford, GM, and Toyota to cut production. Well, the U.S. has suspended all Mexican avocado imports. Mexico's Department of Agriculture said the move came after a U.S. inspector received a threatening phone call. At the time, the inspector was in Mexico to review packing plans. Both countries said they're working to ensure worker safety and resume avocado shipments. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
In America.
Pretty great story about a special roadside delivery. Restaurant owner on her way to work sees a car stopped on the side of the road, realizes there's a woman in desperate need of help. Christian De La Rosa with the rest of the story.
I mean, I was shaking.
Stella Nisnik was on her way to work at her chicken and the egg restaurant this morning. She had just left her yoga class.
Usually you set an intention, so I told myself my intention was to do something good for someone today.
Her intentions would be put to good use, driving through downtown Miami when she came across a car parked in the middle of the street and a woman.
The woman was pregnant and wearing a dress, and I could see blood all over her legs.
Nisnik pulled over and called 911.
So the lady asked me, "What do you have in your car?"
She had her yoga mat. The 911 operator asked her to use it and follow her instructions.
"You need to take a look what's going on." I'm like, okay. So I look. I'm like, well, I see the head, and I like see the baby's head and the hair, and she's like, okay, now I need you to take a deep breath, and I need you to stay calm. You need to deliver this baby right now. I was like on the phone, like, what? My first thought was, I didn't even sanitize my hands.
There she was in the middle of downtown Miami on this curb.
So, I mean, I'm pushing with one hand, and with the other hand, I just started slapping her legs. I'm like yelling at her like crazy. I'm like, come on, Mom, you got this. Just keep on pushing, push. I'm slapping her legs, pushing here. And then eventually the baby just perfectly landed in my hands.
The perfectly healthy baby girl delivered by a well-intentioned stranger who chose to stop. The newborn's father, who recently arrived from Haiti, telling us how no one stopped to help except for her. He says he doesn't have the words to describe how thankful he is.
We don't stop often enough. That could have probably turned out totally different.
Mom and baby made it to the hospital. They're doing just fine now. Coming off of an extremely bright story like that, fittingly enough, we take a wonderful look over 7th and Range Line, where we've got bright blue skies. You enjoyed that control room, didn't you? We've got bright blue skies and a wonderful start to our work week as we sit at 39 degrees. A little bit of a wind chill, so go ahead and knock 6 to 7 degrees off of what you see right now. I definitely have a coat on the way out the door, but eventually we are going to end up in the mid-50s, so about 5-6 degrees above where we'd normally be on this Valentine's Day. Skywatch Storm Tracker, you'll notice how the jet stream takes all that cold air, kind of shifts it up toward the Great Lakes. So the Midwest remains not only very, very dry, but also very, very clear as the wind comes in from the south-southwest, going to lift us up to around 56, 57 degrees today. Probably see a 60 every now and then down to the south. Very consistent 60-degree temperatures on Tuesday. Wednesday is the big one. That's what we're eyeballing. Wednesday evening and nighttime thunderstorms combined with cold Arctic air. Oh, get ready for Thursday morning. We could be talking about a little bit of a wintry mix. Whether it arrives or not, it does not matter. It is going to be tremendously cold on Thursday. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
IndigoSky.com.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. President Biden told Ukraine's president that the United States and its allies would respond, quote, swiftly and decisively if Russia invades Ukraine. Diplomatic efforts to defuse the crisis are ongoing. The U.S. warns an attack could be imminent. If that happens, President Biden has vowed tough economic sanctions against Russia. Well, the busiest border crossing linking the U.S. and Canada reopened late yesterday. Canadian truckers and others protesting COVID-19 restrictions closed the Ambassador Bridge for almost a week. Police arrested a number of people earlier in the day. And fans celebrated a dramatic Super Bowl victory after the Los Angeles Rams squeezed past the Cincinnati Bengals in the last moments for a 23-20 victory. Super Bowl 56 win makes the Rams the second consecutive host to win the championship after Tampa Bay became the first ever a year ago. Let's check in with Michael.
And all in all, No, I don't think anybody's got to hang their heads at anything on that. It was a good,
You
interesting.
think about it, like the whole postseason was.
It's a fun game.
Exciting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, oh God,
Looking up to
that one Saturday, Sunday. My goodness, I don't think we'll ever have 5 games like that. And Tanya, that's a great point. It was one heck of a postseason, just fun all around. 7-day forecast, above average temperatures for the next 3 days. We'll be talking about Wednesday night into Thursday all week long because the thunderstorms are followed by a massive cold front. It is going to be extremely chilly on Thursday.
All right, well, NASA's new space telescope sent its first pictures back to Earth from 1 million miles away on Friday. You could call this a selfie from the James Webb Space Telescope, which was launched on Christmas Day, and now in position, the telescope was able to do a trial run test of its iconic gold mirror and near-infrared camera. These blurry pictures help NASA scientists fine-tune the equipment. Telescope also captured a bright solitary star in the distant Ursa Major constellation. NASA is promising that when it's fully functional, the new telescope could forever change the way we see the universe.
Hard to believe it was launched on Christmas. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I remember that. I forgot it was Christmas, though. I'll be darned. All right, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. Enjoy your day. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.
Domino's, you have $1 million.